Oh gosh. Oh gosh, it's starting. Hey guys, we're live. Oh boy. I'm getting caught in this stupid blanket. Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
It's okay. Alright, anyway, hey guys, and welcome to today's stream. We're back here with Ace Attorney once again. Finally. I don't know how long it's been since the last time, but it's fine.
Long. Just 10 streams ago.
It's late, so let's hurry them up before these two have to go to bed, I guess.
What? 8:30 is the bedtime.
It's 9:30 right now.
Netcam. I need to pull up chat. That's what I was forgetting. I haven't had a second monitor in so long. I forgot what I was supposed to do with this thing. All right. Last we left off, science experiment was not successful.
I got it. Last time we left off, they
murdered someone.
No, they pulled us out of court for a reason. It was because there was a reason for like our absence or for like a recess.
Yeah, it's because the science experiment wasn't legal, so they can actually.
Oh, so they're pulling the so now we
can
actually
examine the
You're
scene.
right, because we proved that, and we're ruining that dude's life.
They're a phony.
He's like, I'd rather go to jail. He accused, or he, confessed.
Yeah. Oh, this room, it's been too long. It hasn't changed in the slightest, though. And it's been some 6 months, hasn't it? It's a long time for things to stay so clear.
I forgot to change the name of the stream. Someone's gonna rage quit the Grey's Attorney Chronicles. Someone's gonna rage quit the jury. Oh shoot!
Someone's going to rage quit. Wait, leave it. That's so good.
Let's just leave it today.
Someone's going to rage quit the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
One of us three is gonna get so mad about the result of this case that we're just gonna quit midstream.
Oh man!
All right.
Oh boy! Change the name. That's only because you changed the last half of the name.
Yeah, we'll change we'll change the important part. So we'll change the name later anyway when something comes up. I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you left it. But it's been some 6 months, it's true.
Wow.
So is your father alright, Susie? What happened? My father?
Yes, Professor Mikotoba. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. Because the telegram you received saying he'd fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
That's right. So I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised but happy. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you, that it was all a trick.
Letter?
My father is in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that.
Well, we're all delighted to. You're just gonna glance over
yeah,
it? What?
This kid does not care. He's like, well, okay.
Alright. Well, all delighted to have you back.
It was quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Just keep going, brushing over it.
It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium.
The International Forensic? That's the same symposium Lord Strongheart mentioned.
Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris. Oh!
You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan.
Yes, of course I shall.
And there's one other thing.
I'm in love with you.
Something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention, but nothing else!
Oh my gosh.
About you-know-who.
Voldemort?
Awesome.
I know. I'll tell you all that I can.
Okay.
Leaves.
I love how he just, he totally glanced over that huge...
Nothing else mattered.
He just cared about his friend.
He's just scanning the letters Cosma. Nope, Cosma.
No sympathy, no sympathy. He's just boom.
I know.
He sent for Cosma, man.
When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely.
The awful trial? Oh yes, for the murder of Jezael Brett.
Ooh, you dressed as a man then, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing! I wish I'd seen it. Don't you, Runo?
Yes, I suppose so.
I want to play it being a lawyer now. Wait, I want to play it being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe.
I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just a 10 years old, Iris. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you. Mrs. Sato, it's about the real reason why Professor Mikotoba summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter it was something to do with that convict's loot we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
That's right. The very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it.
I don't remember.
That's the loot we found? It's the Shakespearean.
Oh yeah, I
Why
do
the
remember
guy
that.
tried to gas Natsume. But I didn't realize this was the treasure we found on it. I don't remember that.
It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet.
Why would that be then?
Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if he refuses to tell me what it was, then I intend to find the answers for myself. And I've decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets. Oh, Susie!
Oh, Pat!
Oh, Pat!
Someone would rage quit in this game per title, so I accidentally forgot to change the title, so we're sticking with it. That's a very meaningful look Susato-san's giving Iris there.
The same look she always gives.
I know, the same blank stare.
I know.
Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries would attend.
Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Chikoku have been invited.
I just realized his name
Jigoku.
is Judge Hell.
Is Jigoku
Jigoku's Hell, I'm pretty sure. In Japanese.
It's something of an honor, I believe.
Jigoku!
Well,
What the
Professor Mikotoba is the leading expert in forensic medicine in our country, after all.
Jigoku.
But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say?
Yes, His Excellency Judge Seishiro. Is it Jigoku?
Jigoku, I don't know.
Jigoku.
I'm not Japanese, I don't know.
Jigoku.
You've met him, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year in the Supreme Court. You can't possibly have forgotten.
We learned how to pronounce Naruhodo. You can Jigoku
Naruhodo.
too.
It's still hard for me. Like it's
Naruhodo.
like a tongue twister for me. Naruhodo. I don't know. That terrible trial of yours when you were accused of murder.
Which one?
Ah, yes. I tried to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days.
So that's Judge Hell.
Well,
Yes.
it was Judge Jigoku who presided over that trial.
Okay, well, I mean, we gotta make sure I'm not as culturally
Baba.
insensitive right now.
Jigoku.
Here.
No, it's Hell.
It's
Yeah.
Hell?
Pronounce
Okay.
it, pronounce it. Jigoku.
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 Jigoku. Judge Jigoku.
Cancel it.
I'm being culturally sensitive by
Cancel
saying
him.
it that way. Judge Jigoku. Hey.
If I'm being
Draw
perfectly
that
honest,
out of
I'd be
my
happy
face.
never to see that man's face again in my life. Never.
Oh, don't look behind you now. Just kidding. Oh, well, anyway, as father was invited to this symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. I pleaded with him, and in the end, he agreed to me going on ahead.
Yes, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Strongheart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important.
Keep yawning. I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself.
Alright guys, time to call stream. It's over. Too
We'll
tired to
continue
continue.
tomorrow morning. 5 a.m.
I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General.
The most senior position in the British justice system. Wait, he's not the most senior position in the British justice system? Who is?
He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said anyway. Apparently it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition.
Who in the world is above this man? Does Professor Mikotoba know Lord Strongheart personally, then I wonder? Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech all about this very subject only yesterday. But I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen to much of it.
How trying for you.
This game gonna devolve towards the end, like the translators got lazy.
I doubt it.
How trying
Brett.
for you, I dissolved when my life flashed before my eyes.
The woman whose unforgivable actions ended in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit.
The woman's actions ended me.
Oh my god.
The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, Giselle Brett. That's a name I won't forget for as long as I live.
The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget.
Sorry?
Since the incident, our government's intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. But it turns out that an Englishwoman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist.
Didn't exist, but how can that be?
It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin. She
Oh,
wasn't a
much more
visiting
English.
student.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Shin.
And
Oh, she wasn't a visiting student, though.
Oh yeah, either. That was a front.
A front? Who on earth was she, then?
Miss A. Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her.
Ascertain.
Miss. Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery.
But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could the woman have been up to?
I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't know yet, that we don't yet understand.
And now she's been killed, while all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered.
So she died after she murdered someone.
No, yeah, she got murdered.
But she murdered someone and then she got murdered.
She murdered the doctor. She murdered Iris's dad.
Yep. And then
She got murdered
and then
in
she
that
got
at the
let-
beach hut.
And then she got convicted but
Yeah.
let free.
She got convicted. Yeah, she was let free, and then they went to the beach hut.
And she died at the beach hut.
Yeah, because the photographer killed her.
And then the photographer.
Was then
Yeah.
killed by. I'm just kidding.
No,
Just
the photographer was sent to jail. Writes in memo, whatever his
jail.
face.
Oh yeah.
I told you.
Mr. Menno.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah.
A Shin. Who on earth was she? And why do I feel as though I've heard that
Was
name
she
before?
Asian?
Oh my Asian. What is she doing in Japan?
Miss-
Asian.
Miss Asian.
Miss Asian, what are you doing in Japan? Oh my. It's not even us, it's the game. Cancel the game.
After my friend racetrack.
Cancel the translators.
Asian, bruh. This culture.
This is...
The reporter who actually killed Miss Brett. I like Miss Brett better. Miss Brett said something very strange.
Many memo.
Oh yeah. Who was this guy? Was it me? Or was it Matthew?
There's no way it was me. I'll do it though.
I know the truth.
my-
I know you had a hand in what went on in that visiting student's fate. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know the guy never made it to England, that he died on the steamship, and that he'll never.
Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time. But later I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama.
And what did you learn?
After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of the consulate staff there.
Should have been.
Well, it turns out that his body never arrived.
Nope.
It just disappeared.
What? Cosmo's body vanished?
Our
Comes back as a
government,
ghost.
our government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliffs.
They
by
threw
our
his body to the bottom of the
Oh,
ocean.
that's why she was standing at the grave at this.
Except Kazuma-sama isn't there.
His body's at the bottom of the ocean, sleeping with the fishies. Did Professor Mikotoba know about this?
Wait, I have a question. Goes to the bottom of the ocean. As far as body. Is it accurate to say he sleeps with fishes or fishes eat body? We get the fishes and nets.
We eat
He's
Kazuma.
sleeping with the men and not
That's not
sleeping
how
with
that
the
works.
fishes.
That's
Because he's in their stomachs. The men ate the fish that ate Kazuma.
that is.
So you're saying he's sleeping with the men
Not every
and
bit's a
they're
hit. Next.
eating him.
Gotta work on that one.
Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to
-2.
Kazuma-sama's body as we speak.
He was never dead. The cat
Bro,
never killed him.
If he shows up from a boat ride, disappeared, he's probably in the...
So it wasn't a cat?
I just don't believe it. And what is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden?
Wait, but weren't they with him when he died?
Yeah.
So then, why did they leave his body ever?
Because they had to get off. I
The
don't
boat.
know.
Were they on the same? Where he died on the boat, didn't he?
Yeah, that they had to get
This
off on the
case
boat.
did seem messed up to me.
So
The whole cat thing I thought was dumb. I was like, he died from a cat?
So wait.
And then he had to get dropped off as maybe the whole point is...
So, but like my question is, they were on the same boat. Wouldn't his body have been on the boat, and they would have like probably watched his body get carried off and stuff?
They saw like the coffin get carried off, but it was empty. But maybe it was empty.
That's weird. So something
Well,
happened on the
that's-
boat with them there.
Yes, that's
Okay,
the whole
gotcha,
point.
Gotcha.
The Russians are obviously going to come back. Beef stroganoff.
Beef stroganoff.
Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Burya were definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Well, there you go. Literally answering these questions.
Yeah.
Could it be? Could it be that he's actually still alive?
No.
Stop it, Mr. Mr.
That'd be so
Not
dumb if he's still
Holdo?
alive. Oh, he took a toxin that just lowered his heart rate down to nothing.
I mean,
Came back and lived.
Remember how they were studying poisons in, They're studying poisons in the... Like, that's what Giselle Brett died to, remember? Or Asian. Miss Asian died to.
Miss Asian?
Miss-
So maybe
Holdo?
she's not dead either.
It's too much to bear.
Maybe no one's dead in this series.
There's no murders actually committed.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Just thinking about
Wait,
the
wait, I have a
possibility
question.
pains me so
If-
very much.
If, okay, someone is murdered
Okay.
and they go and accuse the person of murder and they successfully do so.
Okay.
It turns out that person wasn't murdered.
Uh-huh.
What happens?
You can probably appeal to the court.
Like, then obviously I didn't
But,
kill him
like-
because he's freaking alive.
Like, once the
Or
jury
it would
reaches
be
a
attempted
decision,
murder.
No, you
or
can-
it'd
you can
be
ask for an
attempted
appeal.
murder.
you can appeal it.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it is, an appeal. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
And then, I
was
mean,
like,
if you
what
still
happened?
try to murder them, you'll probably still go to jail. But if you like
attempted.
accidentally kill them, that's probably a totally different case.
Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Nut. It's because the reason why it stops my...
Why is his face so cursed out of
Oh
everyone's
my
faces? What is going on?
And why is he in a crop top?
I'm not.
He's a good
He looks good.
And his fish is a
He
tie.
looks
I mean, his
good.
tie is a fish.
Oh, that's actually dope. I love that. That's actually
Well,
amazing.
why is he in a crop top?
I didn't even notice that. That was
The
sick.
other guy isn't. Anyways, when Cosmosama was discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he?
It's because this is the only size of uniform they have. But he's so big, you know?
He's so big.
It's not a crop top, he's just too big for the uniform.
Yes. But no, his is short sleeve, so it is different.
Okay,
He just
well, Mr.
folds them
Sholmes
up.
examined the body. I could see it being
And he
a mistake.
definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly.
Oh, but remember, like, they're all related due to that one, like, letter at the end of the first game.
What do you
Maybe he said that he was dead on purpose, but, you know.
I mean, they're all related.
Oh, but he's keeping him
There was that
alive.
one, like, mysterious letter that had, like, 4 names on it at the end of the first game.
I don't remember.
Okay, well, there was something. Ah, you're right. Wait, what's right?
That he examined the body and he was fine. Whatever.
He was dead.
So if Cosmo-sama hadn't actually been dead at all, it would mean that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us.
But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing.
It's not like he's
Sholmes
keeping
is
secrets from
evil.
anyone. Yeah.
Sholmes is the final
Oh,
villain.
that would be a plot
Oh
twist.
my.
It's all Sholmes committed a murder.
I suppose that's true, yes.
Covers it up by turning him into.
The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. It wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it. Because if it turned out not to be true...
Today's March 1st and Thomas is playing a Japanese game? What's wrong with playing a Japanese game on March 1st?
Dude, it's March 1st. You didn't know?
Come on, dude.
Yeah, my
It's
bad.
March 1st.
My bad, guys. Sorry, I'm racist. Let it be known.
March 1st, that's it. No, that's an L. We got to end stream. It's March 1st.
I'm like trying to think what could happen. Like, was Hiroshima bombed today? Pearl Harbor? Like, what's wrong? What happened on March 1st?
not gonna go there, but okay. March 1st.
Korea was declaring its independence to Japan. Okay, well, not as bad as I thought. We're okay.
Okay.
I'm against Korea's independence. What else? What do you gotta say?
Okay.
Then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again.
This by
Oh, wow. Turned away.
Whoa.
I'm terrified of what that might do to me.
Oh, Mrs. Sato. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's Susato-san we're talking
It's
about.
Susatan.
So I probably
Susan.
should post it now.
What is the Susato, the equivalent of an name? Susan?
Probably Susan, right?
Why would there have to be an English equivalent? What do you mean?
Is there not? There's in Spanish there is, and Chinese. Matthew, Matai in Chinese, Mateo in Spanish,
Mathieu in
I don't
French.
think there has to be an equivalent.
Matthias in Italian. Like there's tons of stuff.
Maybe, I guess, but I don't think there has to be an equivalent.
There doesn't have to be.
What do I do now?
Present.
What? What?
Move?
What am I? I can't move. What do you want from me?
Oh.
What? Am I
Maybe-
examining
wait,
something?
maybe
There's probably someone
talk
in the
more.
room.
What? Her name is a pun.
Of course, everyone's name is a pun. What do you
Susata
mean?
Mikotoba is a pun. Girl with faith.
That's probably some Japanese joke. I was gonna look up all the pun names at the end of the game, just to make sure I didn't accidentally spoil myself. You see, I avoid keeping my desk beautifully covered in papers, always. As always.
You really must tidy it up, Mr.
Oh,
Naruhodo. No more excuses.
See, this is why you don't look
frick
anything
me,
up
dude.
until you...
Oh, frick me.
You don't look anything up
I
until you
literally-
finish the
what
game.
It just hit me, and I was like, oh, and I went and I was like, oh no.
No,
I
what
literally
did you
spoiled
do?
myself. I don't. All from looking up her
You know the
dang
ending?
name.
You know the ending?
Just play this.
But
I'm not
Mrs.
gonna
Sato,
say
the way I
anything, but-
see it...
And literally, that
Do you
sucks.
know the ending?
No,
Yes,
no,
I'm not
no,
gonna
no.
say
You know that she dies.
I'm not gonna say anything.
All the-
That's
She
dumb. I
is the
didn't.
big bad.
I didn't need that in my life.
All these papers building up on my desk like this are a reminder of my wonderfully diverse daily life. I like to leave them as they are so I never forget how lucky I am to have such varied experiences.
In that case, you should definitely have a thorough tidy. Then you'll be able to see your papers building up all over again and feel that joy renewed.
It's fine. We just stop streaming for 3 months, and then you'll forget everything about the game.
You're right. I'll forget.
You'll eventually forget. If we take so long to finish this game, you're gonna forget. And then when it comes back up, you're like, oh, well, this is the thing I looked up.
Yep, exactly.
Still can't beat her in an argument, even though I'm a lawyer here. Okay, well, let's talk to Iris. You're probably the reason we can't move anywhere. You're blocking our way down the stairs.
It must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I called it The Hound of the Baskervilles.
But then, oh, Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it and put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it.
So nobody knows anything about it apart from Hurley and I. For some reason, you knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Oh, it sounds so exciting, The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. And you wouldn't tell me how you'd come to know it. Yes, but I made you a promise that I would explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time.
Oh, finally.
Oh,
Your dad's dead.
I'm only sorry I've had to keep it from you for so long, Iris.
Surprise me.
It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, The Hound of the Baskervilles.
What?
My Baskerville story? Of course I had no idea what it was at the time. Father came in and... Zato, what are you doing? Oh, who does his voice?
Think?
Oh, fuck.
It's not even you.
Oh, Father!
I think it was me. Well, you got it, Matt. You don't have any
You
voice
look
right
at
now.
those papers.
No, I simply read the label, that's all.
If you did, I would have had to kill you. Put it out of your mind.
What? Sorry?
Forget that you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand?
And so that's why I'm telling you. He's not dead, is he?
What is this thing?
Nope.
It's your father.
It's a Daruma. Like a...
Oh, of course, the Dharma.
It's like a thing of luck in Japanese culture,
Gotcha.
I think.
Huh.
But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan?
A dongo? Dongo.
A dango, yes, that's what it is.
Dongo.
That is, you nailed it. That is exactly how the song went.
I have
This is a
no
throwback to
idea.
the VN the precursor to this series. I don't
The
even know if we
precursor to
streamed
this
it.
series.
We didn't record it, did we? I just
No,
played
Clanad. I just had you
it.
play
That's
it.
crazy. Clanad Dongo.
When I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day.
The circle with 2 lines.
This one.
All right. Yeah, that's enough of that.
What is that
Sprint
from?
shut down the MCA.
The title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Sholmes' exploits.
I don't know. That's kind of a sus explanation.
Exploit. Really, I think
Saw
Sholmes
it
might be a
at
bad
the
guy.
desk.
Legit.
I could see it.
When I returned to Japan,
Oh, this is what you spoiled, isn't it?
I asked Father
Oh
to
my.
explain. He refused to answer any of my questions, and there was no sign of the big box in his office. Shocked. That's really all I know about it. I have no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie.
Right, let's leave.
There's a lot of people in on this.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are.
There's a lot of hidden ties, yeah, for sure.
I've committed every detail about the case to memory. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well.
So you're fully abreast of the situation already.
Abreast.
Listen, Naruto, get out of your head, Ryunosuke. What's going on?
I expect nothing else, to be honest.
I would think our first port of call should be to investigate this Mr. Drebber. The engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick.
Yes, a conjurer of sorts by the sound of it, well known in the field of science and magic.
Then we need to go and arrest him.
Well, yes. He must know the truth behind this case, so I agree we really do need to find the man.
It sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down. Which is a job for the police, or a great detective.
Are we supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think.
Good idea. Well, best of luck then.
Oh, you're not coming today?
I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know later how you got on, won't you?
I really thought they were about to tell her that.
That was a little abrupt. The pull of the herb market must be strong. Alright, well, I guess we'll check out Sholmes' suite first.
Isn't Iris supposed to be the actual smart one? Super intelligent?
I mean, yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's gonna figure it out before... And how has she not figured it out?
Figured out what?
I don't know. I feel like... How did my manuscript get there? Like, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go get some herbs, but really she's about to go investigate and figure everything out.
Maybe. Who
the
the heck is
heck
this
is
guy? Oh, who's that
Girl.
standing beside Lord
I
Strongheart?
mean, girl.
Would have turned out
Yeah, I
as
think it
weird.
is.
I wonder.
Yep.
I've never seen her before. Her.
Oh, she's probably the real person in charge.
The young champion of the court, who had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result.
Oh, you mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiments?
Sham science being demonstrated at London's Great Exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrabbling to respond. Lord Van Zieks is in Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing.
Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble.
None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. The special dispensation that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time.
It's scrap metal now, is it?
Yes.
Until later, then, Lord Strongheart.
Yes, thank you.
Isn't that the prosecutor badge? I don't know. Who was that?
That was Dr. Courtney Scythe.
Oh,
Where's
Lord.
that? Courtney Scythe. Courtney.
You want to look this one up too?
No.
Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. She's leading the forensic investigation team's handling of this case. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact.
Oh, I see. About Mr. Asman.
Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to reevaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. You can find her in the forensics laboratory.
Ah, right. Oh.
Now, skip my dialogue one more time, boy. What were you here to see me about?
Don't bring it up. It's sensitive, Colton. Don't bring it up.
It literally was explained.
How do you not know, Colton? How do you not? This is just everyone here is just you gotta
Everyone
educate
knows.
yourself.
Come on.
You gotta educate yourself. That's just
Learn more
disgusting.
history. You're
That's
literally
sickening.
you're the history buff here.
Sickening.
I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time.
So he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. Tell me what you know. What exactly is the forensics investigation team that you mentioned before?
The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago now, unofficially of course, to pave the way.
Goodness, a year ago?
About a year ago. At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. And once that happens, the position of the Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly.
What do you mean?
For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London's scum is about to be rounded up and burnt in the fires of hell.
This is the next Hi-Fi Rush stream? Great question. Don't worry about it.
We don't play that game anymore. I intend to see to it personally.
How's that game? Don't you not have rhythm? No, you have rhythm. You played rhythm games for like 4 years of your high school life.
Maybe even longer, honestly,
By
guys.
creating the finest police force the world has ever known to protect our honor and our future.
Honestly, Hi-Fi Rush is really fun. Look at those eyes. He means every word.
It's got some skin.
Dr. Scythe is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish the forensics division at Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikotoba.
Yes, my lord?
Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan.
Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of next month.
Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? With Professor Mikotoba, I mean.
It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mikotoba very well. Me and Miko go way back. If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
Always as a student. Everyone meets, apparently.
I know. It was the year I was born, so yes, 16 years ago in fact.
Mikotoba was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Jigoku accompanied him as a young promising judge. Ah, my Nipponese friends.
Wrong character.
The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly.
This guy ain't racist. Can't be.
But not anymore.
The punctiliousness. I guess how punctual they are.
The punctiliousness. That's a good word.
Punctiliousness.
Punctiliousness.
Not punctualicious.
Ooh,
I'm pretty sure it has to do with how punctual someone is, honestly.
Let me look it up.
Punctilious. Yeah, punctual.
Punctilicious.
Punctiliousness. There's no other, like, T.
Yeah, punctilious.
Can't be sure.
The
Punctilious.
quality of being very careful to behave correctly or to give attention to details.
Wow, not what I thought it meant.
I gotta look it up now. It's punctilicious.
Punctiliousness.
Yeah, I got
Dang it! Oh.
Ha! What do you mean? That's so obvious.
Punctiliousness.
I still like punctualicious better though. Punctual.
Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in
See,
any
this
way.
guy ain't racist.
Wow, he's good. He's one of the good
He's
ones.
woke.
He's woke.
I didn't think that you were.
Well, he has his right-hand woman. Didn't you hear?
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Dr. Mikotoba studied forensics at one of London's large hospitals. Saint Sinners,
That's funny. That's good.
Saint Sinners.
if I'm not mistaken.
And Judge Chigoku?
Judge Jigoku studied at Saint Sinners. Dr. Scythe was also there then, as it happens.
What is a scythe? Isn't that like a type of like...
It's a weapon. It's
Yeah.
like
That Grim
it's,
Reaper
it's
holds.
Grim Reaper, yeah.
Oh. And a coroner.
Then,
What does a coroner do?
They examine the bodies.
That's okay. That's what I thought. Okay, so she uses her scythe. Then Dr. Scythe knows my father, does she?
she was a young medical
She's
assistant
your
at
mother.
the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. But I've no doubt they knew each other superficially.
Superficially.
After all, Dr. Mikotoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total.
6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it?
I lived with my grandmother in those years.
So he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years.
It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Oh,
Perhaps father wanted a reason to get away.
what do you mean? Why? Well, clearly something was going on at the time.
The way he doesn't even get touched.
That's
Oh
so
my
dumb.
gosh.
I wanted to ask you about Lord Van Zeeks, actually.
He just looks down.
Anyway.
He just looks down.
Oh, Lord Van Zeeks! What's up with that guy? I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago. Another touchy subject. By a mass murderer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty, is that right?
You Japanese are a thorough lot. Done your research well. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper.
What? Why?
When his brother Clint Van Zeeks was murdered,
It's like I'm in the room with the characters, yes. Immersion right in.
it was just after young Barock had graduated from the University of London and become a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing. Rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started to say that wherever Barock Van Zeeks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind.
The hooded figure is his brother. No one's actually dead in this game.
Word.
So, Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper. It's the ghost of his brother?
Oh.
Yes, that makes sense.
Oh.
Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles.
Oh, yes, Lord Strongheart.
Go ahead.
It's about Professor Harebrain's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains if possible.
Are you well versed in science, then?
Not in the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently.
Wow.
Well, the special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Scythe's team of forensic experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing.
Thank you. Being able to look at it is better than nothing.
And I'll be able to see it too.
Your time is up. You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls.
We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you are so busy, my lord.
I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium. You understand?
Man, so many places. Oh my gosh.
I like his voice.
See if we can talk to Harebrain in prison. Oh, yes.
Oh my.
He's planning his jailbreak.
Oh my.
Who gave him the chalk?
What's he doing?
He's... Oh my. The whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations.
And he's still writing more now. Professor, sorry to
I think
interrupt.
his chalk isn't working anymore. I'm just kidding.
He has like no fingers. It's just his bone.
Oh my gosh.
No, he's just gone insane. He's ran out already, but he's still writing.
Mr. Naruhodo, and who is this young lady?
What? My name is Susato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
Oh, if only I'd met a refined young woman like you sooner. None of this would have ever happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all.
Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you.
I owe an apology to you. I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning.
Oh, no. The whole thing, this whole miserable affair. It all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot.
Professor Hairbrain, what have you been working on in your cell?
This, my friends, is the formula of how to get a girl. Oh, haha, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. Hey, Zoink, Scoob.
That's right, that's a voice I'm doing.
Yep.
I was suddenly struck by an idea. You see,
What was it?
No,
It
it's
was
a little different.
it's Meepo.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Meepo. Meepo. What the freak is his voice?
I was suddenly struck by an idea. You see, I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had at hand.
No.
Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to
Meepo
surpass,
doesn't understand.
something to surpass super high voltage
Oh,
instantaneous
Scoob.
kinesis, maybe?
I don't know what it is. I gotta listen to it.
It doesn't matter. It's fine. Then I've been past the
This is
history.
autobiography.
No, actually, this is my autobiography.
Your autobiography.
Your autobiography.
How I was diddled and fiddled. No.
Type it.
How?
No. How I was diddled and fiddled. Wow, this game
Wait, make that a
really
capital A.
goes into every single
How
the
I
worst
was
aspects of
diddled
humanity.
And fiddle.
I'm so sorry, Albert. Oh my gosh.
This is why he's messed up. I'm just
I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers and an ambitious set of simultaneous equations.
Really?
I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see.
What happened to having only the wall to write on? You have a pen and a note and a clipboard?
Well, I guess, I mean, it is nice to, like, see all this.
He said he had nothing else to write on.
He said that?
Yes.
So it's going to be a new
You're a
serial
liar.
publication from next month.
Where does he
Part
get that
1,
thing?
an odd birth, an odd upbringing.
Science.
You can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure.
Science rules.
I see. Well, for
What's
now,
part 2, an odd uncle? Jeez.
would you mind if we talked a little more about the case?
Oh yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled, I was fiddled by the pair of...
Oh, shoot.
by Assman and by the aloof engineer
By
Trevor.
Ass Man?
Oh my.
He called himself Assman. He diddled me, and his partner fiddled me.
Oh boy.
Oh my
We're not going to have to
God.
sit through an explanation of this diddling and fiddling, are we?
Oh no. The game set it up.
Diddling and fiddling.
Everything I believed has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Assman, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even.
I'm sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way.
No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public.
No, of course you didn't.
But in court this morning, I realized something.
Oh?
If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you're aware of it or not.
Whoa, he's getting existential on us.
Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me.
Oh, Professor.
He believed in me this morning, you know. Barak did. He believed
Isn't it
in my
Barak?
hypothesis.
Yep.
It is not Barack.
Barack Van Zeeks?
Barack?
Barrack, with the emphasis on the air.
Barack?
Not
Barack.
Barack. It's not Obama up in
Barack
here.
Obama?
It's not.
Barack
It's not-
Don Obama?
It's not Barack Van
Van
Zeeks.
Barack.
I don't know.
Barrack. How do you say Barack?
Well, I think
How to pronounce...
I think I imagine it's Barok, like Baron.
Yeah, Barok.
Rock.
But I mean,
You done?
anyway, that was just the
How to
necessary
pronounce-
fact.
Yeah,
Look, how to pronounce Baroque Van Zeeks. Baroque.
Baroque Van Zeeks.
Baroque.
Van Zeeks.
That was just the necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its
Baroque.
case.
So, according to the Japanese spelling of his name, yeah, Baroque.
Baroque Van Zeeks. Okay.
Baroque. I like that better.
Baroque Van Zeeks. No, it's Barrack. It's been Barrack for 2 years
Not
almost.
Barrack.
No, Baroque wouldn't do something. I can't.
Baroque. He's Baroque.
Baroque Van Zeek. Baroque Van Zeeks. What's the pun? I'm sure he genuinely believed
He's
it.
broken.
We'll have a pun session at the end. We'll look up
Baroque.
all the names and see what all the puns are at the end of the games.
Baroque
Did
Van
he-
Zeeks.
Spoil everything.
I
That's
think
why
I
we're doing it at the end
understand
of the
now.
game.
Oh,
Where
I
they
thought you
can't
meant
spoil.
today.
No.
Why was it he decided to take on the prosecution of my trial? I mean, after the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even.
I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there.
So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Baroque, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense.
And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor.
I mean, he is a fraud. He was declared a fraud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which would have been a fate worse than death for me.
But you've been declared a fraud.
But Baroque insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish.
You think that's why he...
I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul.
But that extremely kind-hearted soul
Is racist.
spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he?
Wow.
Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it.
And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea?
Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start?
I'm sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes.
When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so empathetic. Emphatic.
But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems.
I still can't believe it.
As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic.
Yo, guys.
It
What if
probably
they
didn't
make
require a
an
large amount
anime
of
based off of this
things.
whole series? The creators watch our video and they go, get them for the English dub. That'd be sick.
Crazy.
That would never happen.
That would happen.
That would
You gotta
never
believe.
happen.
You gotta manifest it.
That would never happen.
This
That'd be
series
so
blows up in the
cool.
future. 3 years from now, blows up. Millions of views. Boom. Official Ace Attorney series. They just boom. Oh yeah.
You're right, never happen.
I'm alright, Tug.
Never
Oh
happened.
my gosh.
Manifested.
But the scale of it,
We
it wasn't
wouldn't
just
do it
some
for the
small
whole
trick.
thing, too.
It was a very elaborate feat of deception.
Oh,
the
young scientist. Oh.
The question is, who would everyone get to voice, you know?
All the characters we voiced in here.
All of the characters? No,
I
you get
wanna
picked
do
for
all
one.
of them.
You would get picked for one. Who
Oh.
would you get picked
If
for?
I had to
is the
pick
question.
one,
You'd be,
I'd be Baroque Van Zeeks.
Yeah.
Baroque Van Zeeks. That's who I'd pick. You'd be Sholmes, I'm guessing.
No, I'd be the Skulkin brother.
You
What?
would?
I don't, if I choose, no. If I
or you'd
chose,
be
sure.
the main guy.
No,
If
that.
you would choose the Skulkin brothers.
No, if I could choose, I would choose Baby Show. Maybe the Skulkin brothers, honestly. It's kind of
Oh,
fun.
I'd be, Susan.
Oh, Susato-san.
I'm
Really?
gonna have to hold my reservations about Sholmes until the end. You know, you never know what dark turn's gonna take now.
I
at
know,
this
you're
point.
right. But that might even be cooler.
Exactly.
To
Yeah.
voice him.
We'll have to see.
All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. And none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that only to be taken for a complete fool is too rotten to believe.
It is. I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Asman is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Drebber. Is he an engineer, or a magician, or a swindler?
It was about a year ago when Mr. Assman first brought Drebber to meet me at my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times, to discuss details about the kinesis machine.
But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist?
Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist.
What do you mean?
It was as big as he said it was. He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge.
It never ends, this game.
Oh my
It
god.
leans into it every time.
There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation.
This game went downhill after the Shakespeare case.
I know.
Wow.
I see.
But the wretched man deceived you, Professor.
It is his handing
It's
it to us.
unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us as to his whereabouts?
I'm sorry. We'll never discuss the kinesis machine. Nothing else. Although, just once, I did visit his workshop.
What workshop?
Drebber's enormous fabrication laboratory, where he constructed my great machine.
Why didn't you mention this before? Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there. So you've been to Drebber's place of work then?
Yes, just once, you understand? It was an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see.
Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance we'll find Drebber there.
Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure. As in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all.
He was there, but he
I'm so sorry.
I was more than half expecting that.
You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there.
What the heck?
He blindfolded you. He wasn't taking any chances then.
The place was incredible. The pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Oh, the indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formulae and use that instead.
Dang, he was blindfolded, they had special oil.
Went and visited his workshop.
What do you think, Mr. Sato? You the machine for your next birthday? Oh, the machine for your next birthday?
I've never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo, and I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know any even part of the workshop's address, Professor? You don't have a business card for Mr. Drebber, for example?
Yes, I do. He gave me his business card once.
Oh my.
It's right here. Look.
Look, I just
What?
have it in my pocket. Let me see it!
Throw etiquette to the wind, why don't you?
Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address.
No? Oh well, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful.
What is a card like that for anyways then? It's supposed to be able to like, contact them. Put it around. Bless you.
Enoch
Flip it around.
Engineer.
This dark smudge here.
I think perhaps it's machine oil.
Yes, possibly. Professor Herbert mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? He said it was especially important, very high quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain.
Yes, that's right, but more importantly, that it's more fragrant than the finest perfume. So, excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all.
Don't worry, I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount on here. Okay. It was important. That's all that matters.
So he sprayed his perfume on it and gave it to
Forensics laboratory.
Examine the machine, poo. Oh, it's a dog. We've moved on from cats.
I had no idea there were so many people in the world.
I know what you mean. It's really packed here today.
It feels as though it's taken us 2 hours just to make our way through the crowds to this.
Has it? I shut my brain down, so I didn't really notice, to be honest.
Gosh, I do wish I had your absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Naruhodo.
Wow.
There you are. I had a feeling you lot would show your mugs before long. Oh, that's not who I thought I was at all.
I know.
Oh, Inspector Gregson. I see you're hard at work as usual. Oh, my good sir.
All greetings to you. I hope you've been keeping well since the last time we met.
What's with all the ceremony? We just saw each other at court this morning.
Not you, sunshine. A gentlewoman so loyal at your side.
Oh. Why, thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice. Janita's in the back with the dog.
He might be a
That was
bit rougher
great.
on the edges, but he's still a proper English gentleman at heart, I suppose. As you probably guessed, we were hoping to investigate the scene some more.
Right, well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi, get over
Oi.
here, Gina.
Get over here, Gina.
What the dog is
Just
attacking her?
Getting
her.
punch.
She seems to be busy playing with the puppy, probably
Yeah,
giving it a traditional
boom,
East End
boom.
training.
Gina, she's a police officer now?
Amazing, isn't it?
He's a good kid, actually. Art's in the right place. Anyway, she's got the detection bug, if you ask me. Yep, I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely.
What do you mean? He's retiring.
Well, I'm being transferred. It's time for me to say toodaloo to London.
Oh no, really?
That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea.
Where are you going,
Going to be posted then. We'll come see how you're getting along.
Not likely. You're welcome to try, if you don't mind a trip to France, eh?
To France?
I'll be working in the Paris Police Prefecture.
I feel like all of your
Paris
accents
Police Prefecture.
go more and more into just like gibberish.
You'll be right up my alley.
But France is an entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there?
Baroque hasn't generated yet.
That's the way the doctor works, sunshine. Now don't you go poking your
Sure.
nose in when it's not wanted.
It's closer to your normal.
I'm intending to take the kid with me when I go.
What? You're taking Gina to Paris?
Well, I can't leave her in London. Who knows what would become of her?
I suppose he's worried she'd slip back into slipping her hands into people's pockets and purses.
Yikes, that's okay.
Ooh.
Slipping her hands in.
Put her hands into people's pants.
Guys, just make it so much worse.
Alright, slip her hands into my purse, you know what I'm saying? She's almost legal, eh?
Oh my gosh.
Another month or two.
Shut up. I don't think he's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruhodo.
I don't either.
I
for
think
some
he's
reason.
worried about something else. The replay.
Oh, of course. So that's playing on Inspector Gregson's mind too, is it?
Anyway, I'm messing this a genius. I don't go blamming you, hear me?
That's so awkward.
Everyone's getting diddled and fiddled here today. No, of course not.
I've got to keep that diving diva safe and sound. Till this is over, at least.
Oh,
Oi, did you just call me a bloomin' diving diva again?
So you heard that, did you? Right, well, any questions about the scene, you can put them to my capable detective diva, eh?
Alright, you heard the boss. Inspector Lestrade, in charge here now. I suppose I better keep my word and not mention anything about Paris. So, Gina, you got a new dog, have you?
Aw, kind of creepy actually.
Isn't he great? What? He's creepy.
Yeah.
Toby's his
Making
name.
those licks, such force.
Oh, how delightful! He's
No,
absolutely
she's dodging it.
adorable. Ugh.
Yes, the dog does seem lovely, but it's not so lovely Inspector Gregson that's playing on... It's the not so lovely Inspector Gregson that's playing on my mind, to be honest. Alright. Show me what you got. What? How did it do that? Gina, we were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again. Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like. Oh, that's alright, is it? I'm gonna be playing with my new friend here. Yes, Toby.
What?
He's voiced, it's fine. They had the budget for them, the pets.
The machine that exploded must be at the top of those stairs, I presume? I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind.
Sorry, you can't go up there, Zeus.
Oh.
I know you in Provo, but the title can be deemed sus.
That's
I
the whole
said it.
point. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be sus.
Yeah.
Know you in Provo?
I don't understand what me being here has to do with anything, but yeah.
I know
Actually,
you in Provo.
technically we're in Orem.
We ain't in Provo.
If you want to dox these
We
people, I'll
in
issue their
Provo
exact
no more.
address.
Yeah, what the heck? Why you let people know where we live? We're not
I'm
in
just
Orem.
kidding.
No one lives in Orem.
No. Not in Provo or Orem.
I lost a man's lol.
All right, I'm lost.
It's
It's like trying to
Mom,
reach
are you
Gina's
drunk
lines.
again?
I lost the man.
It's like I told Odo yesterday. Even I ain't allowed near that wreck. What's it called again? The reason we ain't supposed to touch it. The special dispensation for special. Is that what you're speaking? Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, and I devolved.
That's
My
the one.
business.
That's why
not
only
like that.
them are to domesticate it. My audio's gone.
Oh.
Oh no, my audio.
My audio.
Not my audio.
Not the audio.
Oh,
there
I
it
got it,
is.
I got it.
Ugh.
Oh, I can't remember what it's taking
What are they called again? The forensic something. The forensics investigation team?
Forensic something.
Is that what you're thinking of?
Forensic.
That's the one, yeah.
But isn't it the case that the special dispensation has been lifted?
I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with ya. You're still supposed to get permission from some bigwig or mother, as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strange something.
I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Strongheart, perhaps?
That's the one, yeah. Apparently he's always watching the sign at the time or something.
Actually, we've just recently been to see Lord Strongheart.
You what? You met him? Last time the boss was called to go and see him. He waited for 3 hours at the Co's office and came back sniffling. Tragic.
Well, Lord Strongheart has given us permission to examine the scene as long as we touch nothing.
Oh yeah? Honestly? Oh, honestly. Alright then, go ahead, but if it turns out you're lying, it'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So, you're still saying all this is above board, are ya?
I'm sure everything will be fine.
That really would be tragic. No more chips for Spectre, Gregson. Alright then, them's the stairs, off you go.
Wow, geez.
Oh, thank you, Gina.
Like, we have more to talk about. Off we go. It was great, wasn't it? I had a right laugh. It was a new one on me, that. You know, being in court and not spending the whole time worrying I'm about to be found out.
You did keep an awful lot of secrets in all your previous court appearances, though, didn't you?
Yeah, and Otto made things hard for me every single time and all. Just doing my job, Gina. But watching someone else get it in the neck is a lot of fun, actually. It was amazing when you showed that dodgy professor's dodgy experiment was a total fix.
The dodgy professor, as you put it, Gina, is Mr. Naruhodo's client.
Yes, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though. Wow. It's the boss I feel sorry for, sent off to do the impossible.
What do you mean?
He's supposed to arrest the other cove, ain't he? Ain't in time for tomorrow and all. You know, the dodgy engineer? What's his name again? Mr. Drebber, you mean? Enoch Drebber? Yeah, that's the one. So the police are looking for this mysterious man with the black monocle. I guess they would be. It's putting too much on the boss, if you ask me. He says it's giving him a gut ache.
Oh dear, but I do wonder if that isn't actually from all the fried food.
I have stuff for this. So Scotland Yard are trying to track down Mr. Enoch Drebber. I wonder if they have any luck. He's really funny looking. Got 2 eyes what don't match. Stole a glimpse of a picture of him earlier. I mean, I didn't actually pinch in nothing. The old devil's got it. Sorry? Who? You know, that scowling reaper what's always glugging down glasses of all that blood red plonk.
Plonk. Ah, Lord Van Zeeks.
He's always added in for me, that cove. Don't know what he's always scowling about, mind.
A mega plunk.
Probably would have been a pretty good boss as it goes. You'd rather be the Reaper's apprentice than a detective's trainee. The way I see it, if the choice is between chip-guzzling detective and chalice-glugging demigod, you're equally badly off with
Demigod?
both. Yep,
Is that what it said?
that is what he said. I suppose you're right. I hadn't thought of it like that. Glad we put that one to bed. Anyway, the point is, everyone at the yard's dead set on finding the fishy engineer, but there don't seem to be no clues to go on, so they're stuck. There's nothing that can lead us to Drebber at all?
It's almost like we have something.
Almost. Where did you find that little mutt then, Gina? Oi, don't be so flamin' rude, Otto. Slight overreaction, don't you think?
We should like edit. You could edit the text files, just make it R-rated.
Oh,
Don't be so rude, Otto. Replace
Ain't no
every
B,
single
yeah,
syllable.
alright? Dobby's out, did they put it? Oh yeah, a bona fide detective. Sorry. I've given him a proper title and everything. It's Chief Inspector Toby to you. More senior than Inspector Gregson, is he?
Oh, so he's a police dog, is he?
The police recruit dogs now?
I've heard that they're already being used officially in Germany as part of their city policing. They're used for chasing criminals and such like. They have a wonderful sense of smell.
Oh, this is where the dog comes in. It's gonna find the scent of the oil.
Yep.
I have a fairly good sense of smell myself as it happens. I can tell.
We're gonna find it.
I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered from undergarments that haven't.
Okay, Rianoski, you're pervert.
Ha! That's nothing compared to this little fella, Otto. Oh, really? According to what Boss said, once Toby here gets a good whiff of your drawers, he could chase the scent to the other side of the world. What? To the other side of the world? You mean he swims? He can swim?
Oh
No
my
way.
gosh.
Mr. Naruhodo, I think you may have missed the point by rather a wide margin.
I just can't believe this little dog has such an incredible skill. I'm telling you, Otto, there's gonna be more dogs doing their bit for the police in the future.
Yes, I agree.
Right, one of these days they'll be barking orders at us lot, not the other way around.
Oh dear, sorry Gina, I don't think I agree with your vision quite that much.
Well, anyway, whatever you think about that, Toby is Britain's first police dog. I found him down in Easton the other day. Someone had just checked him out on the street. There you go. I knew she lifted him from somewhere.
Oh Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? The children and the animals.
All right, let's.
Wait, can we present the
yeah.
thing? Yeah.
Or no, this is it. We have to present.
Present.
Oh no, that was it. No, that wasn't it. About this Gina. Yeah, I'm still learning me letters at the moment. I only know A to E, so if it ain't too much bleeding trouble.
Oh my. How is she a policeman? Doesn't even know her alphabet. Ah, actually Gina, it's the back of the card that's important.
How come? There's just a dirty old smudge on the back, that's all.
Turns out that this is a very high quality French machine oil. It has a very particular scent, apparently.
You don't say. Let's have a whiff then. Sure, I don't smell nothing. No, we didn't mean that you should smell it. Oh, right, you mean Toby.
Spider-Man walks in. Got him.
Woof, and then he goes woof.
His sense of smell is so good he can track people over the oceans, can't he?
Professor Harebrain informs us that this oil is unique to Mr. Drebber's workshop. Sniff, sniff,
I actually
sniff,
love
sniff.
this portion of the bottle. I think he's picked up a scent. So you mean if he follows the scent of this oil, Toby could lead us to that dodgy Cole's workshop?
That's right. That's exactly what we were hoping.
How convenient, the first time a police dog has been employed that they get to be used like this. Alright then, we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
I'll just borrow that. But wait, what? When you want to pickpocket? If I can lead everyone to Jack Drebber's workshop, I'll be the best. I'll be the boss's boss before next week.
Oh, yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll be promoted.
Poor Gregson. Implied that he's getting fired in her place. Right then, Otto, leave it to me. Sorry. We're gonna get going after that dodgy engineer Cove right this minute. Oh, but hang on. Somebody's supposed to be on guard duty here all this time. I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get on with our investigation as well, Gina. Oh, right. Oh, well, never mind. It ain't gonna be me. It ain't gonna be me what gets it in the neck. It'll be the boss. Poor Gregson again. Ready, Toby? Got that oil scent, Avia? Come on then, boy. See you later.
I do hope the scent of that oil leads them to that swindler's workshop.
That
Yes,
is the
I
most
hope so,
ridiculous thing to happen.
No, it's
Worse
not.
than the cat.
No, it's not. It's nothing's worse than Cosmo dying to a cat. There's
he
no
didn't
way.
die.
These...
He didn't- it's
Okay,
implied he didn't
you're right.
die,
You're right.
so-
You're right. That's nothing worse than when we thought Cosmo died to a cat.
That was pretty bad.
Ideally, before the dog swims across the channel to France.
Yo, I can't believe people had to wait for a second game for that to be resolved. That's bad.
And the game took a couple of years too.
Imagine something dumb happening like in Iron Man 3 and they don't address it till Endgame. That's crazy.
How do I get up there again?
On the stairs.
Alright, let's go up.
Oh my, so this is the machine?
Mm-hmm.
That was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place?
Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. It's a little worse for wear at the moment.
What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrain went to in order to obtain the research grant.
No. The professor was strict as well. He didn't know anything about it.
Yes, of course. It is amazing though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British.
What's that supposed to mean? Are you racist too? You're right about that. You never see such a grand deception in
We're
Japan,
racist.
that's for
We're
sure.
racist. Look at that.
Oh look. Is that?
Whoa.
I thought she was looking at the Ferris
Like your
wheel.
dad. Lord Van Zeeks?
So I think we're more or less done here, aren't we? Shall we, Mrs. Sato?
Already?
He is the Reaper, remember? We do well to keep our distance, I think.
We have permission to be here from the top. We're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine as long as we don't touch anything.
From the top? Do you mean Lord Strongheart?
Exactly. We can stay here and stare at this wreckage for as long as we like.
Could have been at the center of the explosion here and it would have bent her steel will. Alright, guess we have to talk to Van Zeeks now. Oh, no, not yet. We have to look on Van Zeeks. Oh, least approachable man in the world, winner 10 years in a row.
Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistant stand firm behind you.
Hey man, especially if you're Japanese, think how hard it is to approach this man. Lord Van Zeeks.
What?
Well, beautiful weather we're having, isn't it?
I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently, you Nipponese are unequipped to read the signs.
Oh, I read them.
Praying.
So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited.
Well, the thing is...
So why are you here, huh? Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate, on the condition that we didn't disturb anything.
And yet you've managed to disturb me.
Wow. What a retort.
Never mind. State your business then.
Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I'd like to ask Lord Van Zeeks about. Not least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this.
Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo. You won't know unless you try. So he really does read his mind.
Yep.
Wow, we're really gonna ask him right here, right now.
Right here, right now. So, Clint was the name of your older brother, I understand, Lord Van Zeeks.
You Nipponese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you?
Oh, no, it's not like that. Well, alright, it is a bit like that.
My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Van Zeeks family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us.
The professor, you mean? Is something funny?
That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised.
Sorry, there's more to it then.
Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it?
Oh, you're too kind. Are you going to tar all Nipponese with the same brush next?
Badge. So tell me, what's your interest in that historic incident?
As it happens, Lord Van Zeeks, there's a rather curious case that comes to our attention. Are you aware of the Madame Tespel's Museum of Waxwork by any chance?
I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I feature in one of the displays there.
for public scorn.
Of course, the infamous Reaper of the Bailey would have to be exhibited, wouldn't he?
Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place and held for ransom.
A particular waxwork, which... Wait, you mean me?
Yes, it's the professor.
Oh.
Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak.
I was unaware of that.
He's turned as white as a sheet. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already?
Surely that goes without saying.
We're very keen to see them found as well. The trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier.
Which, according to Professor Hairbrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight, white hair and wears a black monocle.
So I was just wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but
We'd very much appreciate any more clues you can give us.
wow, Susato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns.
Fine, why not? I have a photograph of the man here from an investigation 10 years ago. Just on hand, I carry it with me at all times. Shut up.
I find him very handsome.
I'm trying to grow my hair out like him. Though it appears he already had that black monocle at the time. Sephiroth was his name. What?
Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised with how bad that joke was.
What? My jokes are great. I'll need the man's testimony in court tomorrow. Which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph?
What is it about Lord Van Zeeks? Sometimes I just can't work him out at all. Alright, let's see if there's anything to examine about the photograph.
Unfortunate soul.
Oh, hello there.
It's him.
It's Kazuma.
No! No!
Why would Kazuma... Why?
You're so right! You are so right! I'm betting freaking money on that. You're so right.
Does it look like him? Does it look like his
my-
face?
Is that his chin?
Is that his chin? Is he wearing purple underneath there?
That would be so nutty.
Would that make sense in the story though?
No, absolutely not.
Of course it will, eventually.
Ah, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you.
That could be Kazuma's face shape. Not pronounced as Dream's chin, but...
Are you alright? She's about to say,
Are you alright?
He's just so attractive. Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo?
Lord Van Zeek's apprentice, apparently. So I'm not the only one. Susato-san can see it too.
Lord Van Zeeks, maybe speak with your apprentice for a moment?
With him? Why?
Definitely Kazuma.
Oh, look at
Kazuma-sama!
that! You literally got it, Thomas.
No way.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's gonna have amnesia!
Kazuma.
I don't believe it.
Wait, I'm Kazuma. I forgot what Kazuma's
your posture,
name is.
your presence. It can only be... It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama?
I felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure.
Oh
As if I knew
my
him somehow.
gosh.
Can it really be you, Kazuma? Nah, it's his twin brother. But wait!
Wait.
Too late.
What's going on here? What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something.
Well,
Since when has he been in your care?
You know he's Nipponese.
I don't
What? She gets all pissed.
I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago.
Lord Strongheart introduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor.
Kazuma's gonna be the final prosecutor of the game.
Yep.
But he didn't tell you why, did he?
The man appears to be
Oh,
suffering
yep.
from amnesia. He's
Classic.
forgotten every last detail about himself.
Classic.
He has amnesia?
Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side.
What?
He's to serve as my judicial assistant on Lord Strongheart's orders.
He'll be in court with us?
You were so good at predicting this. That was great. That was beautiful.
I mean, they literally set it up. They literally started talking about Cosmo right before this.
Okay, well, clearly
Yeah.
I'm not good at reading
Crazy though.
cues. Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course.
Oh, yes, thank you. I definitely saw a reaction there.
Wouldn't they be freaking out? Yeah.
When Susato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out Kazuma-sama.
Kazuma-san!
Kazuma-sama!
Oh, Oni-chan! Come inside! Come inside!
I don't know. Let's see if we can find
Another
anything new
day.
here.
What a terrible
Kazuma!
explosion it must have been.
Nani?
How could they even, like, think if they literally thought, like, isn't it his brother?
What?
Kazuma.
No,
No.
just his best
Cousin.
friend.
Oh, it's his best friend.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was his brother.
And yet
sometimes.
we were not phased. We're
And,
not phased.
and how does Susato know him again?
Lover.
I don't know.
Passionate lover.
Probably.
Or his only child.
Ah.
Even the steel girders have buckled and twisted in the blast.
I
got you.
I leave my hand alone.
And what they call the
Leave
birdcage
your
was
hair
right in the
alone?
middle
Leave
of
my
it all,
hand
just
alone.
My
here.
hair.
That hand.
But look, Mr. Naruto, that metal grill on the floor looks as though it's designed to open.
It does, doesn't it? If the floor had opened at the
There's a
precise moment the explosion
hinge.
occurred, the birdcage could have dropped
There's
through and
a
disappeared from sight.
They're all hinges. I don't think there's any doubt that this was a very elaborate hoax, is there? We can go up, right?
Yep.
Oh, isn't it exhilarating? All this different architecture from all corners of the world?
It does make you feel a bit like an explorer, doesn't it? I know it's all subjective, but the onion-shaped roofs have rather caught my attention personally.
It's funny because I think we should have, like, examined first and then spoken.
No.
Because it's just, like, so funny. She's, like, over here in tears and she's like, oh my gosh, isn't so cool?
And then you have the intense music going on.
I know. It is very subjective, isn't it?
The Japanese buildings with their wood and paper construction have excellent ventilation. And I've realized that British buildings being made from brick and stone are very strong and long-lasting. The more you know about how things are done in other countries, the more you understand your own, I feel.
Oh yes, I do agree with you there.
But I can't help wondering what an onion does to a roof of a building. I mean, I suppose it's playing on my mind because I don't like the taste of onions.
You really oughtn't let your taste in vegetables dictate your taste in roofs, Mr. Naruto.
What was that?
I don't
Like,
know.
oh, fuck.
Heck yeah.
I hear that a ride on the Ferris wheel is a favorite romantic outing among young
They
London
do it
couples.
in Mexico a lot.
Would you
I-
like to go on one with me?
I think the romance would be slightly spoilt by the abject terror personally, but I'm not a Londoner. So no.
Are you a little scared of heights, Mr. Naruto?
It's not that I'm scared. Not at all. I'm just saying that staying on the ground seems so much safer.
Well, perhaps I shall have to ask Iris and Mr. Sholmes to accompany me on it in that case.
When you put it like that, part of me does want to give it a try.
He's like, wait, I don't want you to go on a date with Mr. Sholmes.
And Iris.
Oh dear, it is complicated for you, isn't it?
This wasn't here yesterday.
Really? But if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air.
That's right, the bird cage. According to what Professor Harebrant said before, it's made of wood.
Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. And despite having been in an explosion and then falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. What wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruto?
I'd understood that the forensic investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back here when they finished their work.
But sadly, not with the body inside it.
No, that's right. I know we were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still, this is too important a piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. Put the entire bird cage into my pocket.
the whole bird cage.
Just casually into my pocket.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I always wonder, how they presented the evidence in court. Like, 'cause they don't have photos. They just, here's the entire bird cage. Just toss it out.
Goodness gracious.
You'd already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruto?
Yes, yesterday in fact, at Lord Van Zeek's office.
See. And if Cosmos-sama really is still alive, didn't we just...
That means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us.
that he...
I know. We're going to need to speak to him about that. I mean, this probably was supposed to happen after we investigated, so...
We're going to have to leave now. The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, it will cause problems.
What sort of problems?
Foreign affairs problems.
Well, we could do without that. Well, alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mr. Sato.
Wait, but can't we examine up first?
There's nothing to examine there, is the whole point.
Oh. Of course.
Where does it take us? Ah, down here.
Now we move to the laboratory.
Oh, now we go to Madame Tussbill's.
There's nothing here?
I don't know.
Has there been something everywhere, I guess?
There's been something everywhere, almost.
And this is all new to Susato.
True.
Oh my!
To Susato.
Susato. No wonder it's
Susato.
called the House
Mr.
of Horrors.
Naruhodo.
I like to turn on my heels and go straight home via the confectionery.
Confectionery not have to do with desserts?
Like she wants to go through the food.
The food court.
Being scared makes you crave sweets. Oh, it is actually like confections. Okay, I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
understand that.
Yeah. I was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but there's no sign of Mr. Sholmes anywhere.
That's strange. He should be here investigating the abduction of the waxwork. Oh well, I suppose we'll have to just come back again later.
I have a question. Do you think that these background boards that are in English originally were in English? Or do you think they translated them? Because it takes place in Britain, so it makes sense for them to be in English in the
these
original
ones
game.
were originally in English.
Statues available, please inquire.
Wait, please do not touch the statues. Like, so that's in English, even if you're
I
playing
think,
it.
I think these would be in English, even in Japanese, though.
Inquire
Yeah, I think so too.
I?
I think so too.
Yeah, it is. Inquire is with
Please
an I.
inquire.
So maybe
That's why.
it
That's what
was
I'm saying. That's what I'm
translated.
saying.
I'm kind of
Please.
curious. Maybe that's how it was spelled in the olden days. Enquire.
I'm sure it probably might have been. Maybe they spelled that way in Britain. Because we
Enquire.
changed a lot of
Yeah,
words
that's
for
true.
no reason.
That's
like
true.
color.
Enquire is taking 5 years to load. So in the meanwhile, what's going on? Oh, okay, Enquire.
Inquire. It,
Yeah, it
it
just
automatically
changes it.
changed it to I.
What is correct? Inquire or Enquire? Let's see. Oh, while in the UK, the two words are used interchangeably.
Okay.
I believe
What
this
is
it.
this?
Dr. Scythe's laboratory. That chemical...
We went here. What happened with the other place?
We left. There's nothing there.
Oh my god.
The chemical smell really assaults the nose, and there's plenty to assault
Oh
the
my
eyes
God.
That's
with, too.
disgusting. Look up there. There's a brain, a spinal cord.
Lungs or something, or kidneys.
Yeah.
It-
An owl, a crow.
The most interesting place we've been.
Blood
It looks
on
as though the
table.
doctor isn't here. But we're here now, so we may as well do some sightseeing, don't you think?
Is that the attitude you take? What a seasoned tourist you've become, Mrs. Sato.
The
We
doctor's
could just have a
office
look
is
around,
just-
being careful not to upset any restless souls.
Ugh.
Hacksaw. Oh, it's not even something I can examine. Medicine instead. Look at all the bottles on the shelves in these cabinets. What an assortment
Looking
of
across at
chemicals.
me, bloody hacksaw. Look at all the bottles over here.
He's intentionally avoiding it. He looks at the hacksaw. Look at all the bottles!
Yeah. These ones here are labeled highly toxic.
Ugh, that's worrying because there are also things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there.
Oh, yes. They actually say salt and pepper on them. Oh my gosh. The doctor probably spends a lot of time in this room. She eats the bodies. I suppose.
Oh my
Perhaps she has meals here sometimes.
Life goes on even when you're surrounded by death.
I suppose this is Dr. Side's desk.
Ugh, I would not like to work in a place like this.
No, his lock. Very tidy though, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo?
No, it's his Sherlock.
What?
This is Sherlock Holmes in this game.
Oh, ha ha ha. No, his her lock.
The lighting is poor, which is bad for the eyes, and the chemical smell can't be good for you. Not to mention the skeleton watching over you as you work, which definitely is bad for the nerves.
More like the owl and the
I know.
No, the owl's not looking at you, you know? Skeleton's literally
The
staring
owl's
directly at
traumatized.
you.
The owl's traumatized. He's seen too much.
The crow can't even look anymore.
Well, yes, those are valid concerns, I suppose.
I can just about cope with, the one-eyed Dharma doll. That's literally what we pointed out earlier today.
Oh, yeah.
Watching over me, but that's all.
The one-eyed Dharma doll?
Yeah, you fill in one of the eyes.
Oh.
I pointed
gotcha.
out when I sang my
No,
Dongo
yeah, I
song.
noticed that. I just thought...
A table and a set of sharp tools. When you consider each in isolation, it all looks quite innocent. So why is it when you put them side by side, they look so horribly disturbing?
That on the table. It
Well,
might
no,
be...
they're saying like, if you just saw just
Oh,
a
yeah.
screwdriver or just
That's
a
true.
wrench, it's like, oh, that's fine. And then
With
they'll
all
end up
together, yeah.
tortured weapons.
Yeah. It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. Seeing the large tome that's open on the desk does make me wonder, though. How can anybody concentrate on bookwork with this acrid odor? Is it acrid?
It is acrid.
Odor of chemicals in the air.
You'd either have to have a cast iron constitution or a really terrible sense of smell. They passed the constitution roll. Oh, the brain. Those large jars seem to have pale things floating around inside them. I suppose they're fruit liquors or something, or like pickled umeboshi plums we make back
Ew.
home.
Ah, Father had jars like that in his laboratory as well. I expect they're human organs in a preserving solution, probably as examples of some rare medical condition.
Just casually. Mr. Sato, there are some things in the world that it's perfectly fine never to know about. Ever.
Oh,
So as I said, I'm sure they're fruit liquors or umeboshi, aren't they?
of course.
Or do I have to examine now?
That looks like an owl and a crow up there.
I know.
She just points out the obvious. Look, there's a desk. Oh my gosh, there's a skeleton. Look, the owl.
And haven't even twitched since we came in here.
Well, no, they wouldn't have. They're taxidermy mounts, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ugh, I was afraid you were going to say that. I've been trying very hard to tell myself they're just sleeping with their eyes open.
Yes, I think perhaps you were wise to put something like your Dharma doll on display in the office instead.
What more do you want
the
from
book,
me?
maybe the tome? Or we already...
Look at this big, thick book here.
Ah, it appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think. Oh.
What is it?
It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but, well, one entry seems rather strange.
Really? In what way?
They're buying 500 scalpels every month.
Man, Dio must run this place.
Deal.
500? They must be working really hard on dissecting corpses.
I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances.
Yep.
And scalpel blades can be sharpened too.
It does seem a bit strange, you're right. 500 scalpels a month? What could they possibly be using all of them for? Oh, you.
It's the girl.
What are you doing?
Ah! Oh, she has the same thing as
She's a
Vexy.
caduceus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we had something we wanted to ask you, but you weren't here, so...
So you thought you'd snoop around? That's
Oh.
acceptable to you people from the East, is it?
We're
Probably.
making her racist too.
Side Van
Well,
Zooks.
what do you want?
Lord Strongheart told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body, or Mr. Asman's body, I think. I mean,
So we came to ask you about your findings. On Lord Strongheart's advice? Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately. So, you want to know what the forensic investigation team determined from its examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Odi Asman, who disappeared from this experimentation stage amid an explosion, and the Mr. Asman, who appeared moments later partway up the Crystal Tower. were without question one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion.
But that can't be right.
If it was an elaborate trick, we can only speculate about how it was carried out. Let's see, if two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as if one single person had switched places, couldn't they? Very true, but sadly, in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently reappeared was the same person.
How did they know that?
The fingerprints of the scene made that quite evident. I just told you.
Any more questions you'd like to ask? Ah, fingerprints.
They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system, but one day they will be used as an investigative aid as a matter of course. Oh my, but that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So where does that leave us? My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusions.
I'm surprised the trapdoors weren't like a piece of evidence. Instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet the body did move from one place to another.
Also, fingerprints can appear at any time. You could have just touched it while building it.
Exactly.
There's so many weird ends this is trying to tie together.
We're just dumb.
Like, I don't even know who the heck this dude is.
That's the Drebber.
That's Enoch?
That's Drebber. Yeah, they have Drebber.
Sick. Their call voice.
Sick as in cool or sick as in sickly?
Ah, look here, Mrs. Sato.
Oh yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height?
Yes, from the height at which Bloom was flying down into the crystal tower below, a fall about 30 feet or 9 meters.
Leaving the man inside tragically dead.
Alright, that's it. This hasn't cleared up anything at all. It's made the whole thing even more of a mystery.
Whoa! Oh, that she's put on a mask. Oh no, she didn't. It's different.
Different person.
Mama! Mama, what is this?
Ah, where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama?
This is a lawyer, dear. Oh! I'll just take it, I guess.
Hello. To meet you. Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. Do you know?
Mama? Yes? Can I cut this one up?
Jeez, what?
I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like. Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see. Boring.
Okay.
I think I just had a near-death experience.
Oh my gosh. Oh dear. Mr. Naruhodo, you're as pale as a corpse.
Then let's leave before I'm mistaken for one.
Nice.
Well, I think we've done all the investigating we can here for now.
What was the point of that character?
If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Drebber, I'm sure they'll come up in the future.
Yeah. I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now, then,
Yeah, we still have 3 more cases, right?
do you think we ought to try to speak with
This
Mr.
one and 2
Sholmes
more.
at this point? We have things to discuss, and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months.
Yes, it's quite possible he might know something useful, you're right. We have to find him at Madame Tuspel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit.
Yes, Iris told me all about his latest unusual venture.
Alright.
Back to Matt. Oh, she's a witch. It's 2 spells. That makes sense. 2 spells.
Guess that makes sense. Here we are again at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid I haven't got used to the place yet. I love how she's scared of this place. You go to the place where it's like actually.
I mean, people have their fears.
I guess,
There's people who have like fears of mannequins, fears of clowns.
That's true. I'd still like to turn on my heels and go straight home via the confectionery.
Honestly, I hate mannequins in horror games. They're terrible.
Did you freak you out that much?
It's not. I was like among like monsters and like where you ranks like horror things. Like I prefer like a monster over a mannequin.
Really?
Yeah.
Have I got a horror movie for you?
Wow.
Oculus.
I know.
Has like a whole. Oh, have you seen
I know
it?
the movie. I think I remember. I remember the scene where they
It's
bite
the mannequin.
the apple.
Wait,
Oh, and
Oculus?
it's a glass.
Glass, yeah.
The movie that we turned off.
Oh. That was the one about the mirror.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
a giant mirror in our bedroom.
Yep,
and we watched the movie with
I
that giant
remember
mirror.
that.
Yeah, we were like, let's turn this off. It's freaky.
I was
Well,
like,
it was
I
me.
literally was
I
like,
was
it has a
like,
good
let's turn it
ending. We
off.
looked at the ending. Not
Yeah,
a
he
good
was like, I
ending.
swear it's a good ending. Not, yeah, I would have been so mad.
What do you mean? Like, oh, it's like a stupid ending? Okay.
No,
No,
it's like,
like-
I thought good ending. Like
Like,
oh,
it
they
ends well?
Spoilers.
Yeah, no, it doesn't end well. They all die.
Spoilers
and
for
they go to
Oculus.
jail.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sato-san
spoilers.
really is after something sweet today, isn't she?
I mean, it's from like 2011, dude.
What's the matter?
Look, Mr. Naruto, look at that waxwork.
That was there the first time we came here. Oh.
I'm quite sure it wasn't there before.
Oh, I see.
Oh my.
The way she's scared. It looks exactly like Mr. Sholmes down to the very last detail.
That's how scared
it's
she
because
is of
it
Sholmes.
is.
Oh.
Aha!
What is it?
Oh, sorry. I think you'll find that's the temporary waxwork himself.
Wasn't that you?
It was.
What is her voice?
She had like an old, haggard witch voice.
Friend of mine.
The friend of my
That's
dedicated employee.
Oh yes. Hello again. It's Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
I must say, I'm quite spellbound by the great detective. He's a marvel.
Eyes are free.
My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs.
Oh. You don't mean...
But yes, the mystery is solved already.
Wow, Mr. Sholmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough. No, this is where Iris went to in this time.
So as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties.
Yes.
She just loves to stare at him. His habitual
I just want to see him move.
duties?
Hello.
I know.
Shh, do not stir.
I wonder who puts at the end of a sentence like that.
Well, Sato-san, she looks very perplexed. I just want to see Iris kick him again, honestly. That was
I
so
know.
funny.
That was
Seeing him wincing in pain.
Oh.
the delayed action.
Oops.
Yeah, he's rolling around.
That's it, we're done.
We really do need to speak with Mr. Sholmes, and I'm longing to say hello again. But where is he? Oh my gosh.
He started dancing on me.
I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually.
Oh? What do you...
Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I! The world-famous great detective and waxwork, Sherlock Sholmes!
She's shook.
She faints.
Wait, she actually does!
Sato-san!
Oh my.
Dang, you called both, like...
My most humble apologies.
He's looking down at her. I thought I died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment via London.
My dear madam, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point. As long as it's not of questionable street food quality.
I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes?
Merely a secret identity, you understand, though the case is largely solved now.
Largely solved?
We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume. Indeed we are, my good fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess, I'm yet to partake of pie, proverbial or otherwise, or any food so far today for that matter.
His
Stomach rumble echoed around the
you
whole
not hear it?
museum.
No.
It rumbled in the sound.
So how did you manage to solve it so quickly? Ah, well, do remember I said it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone?
Oh yes, it's a most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet.
This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing. Just between you and I, it would appear the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event.
Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no?
Yes, I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive.
But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary?
A fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame Tuspel's at all costs. You see, I've already taken her money. A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street after all. Poor Iris. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork? We're in the process of trying to track somebody down. Oh?
Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He's a swindler who duped Professor Harebrain and the engineer who built the kinesis machine.
A swindler and an engineer, quite the modern man. He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts too, with his considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning, but we have so few clues to go on, that's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. If I knew something of the man's appearance, at least I may be in better position to help. Yes, Trevor's appearance. Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, I should gladly give you my thoughts on it.
Oh, we're confronting him.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us? My dear Mr. Naruhodo, stay that piercing stare. What is this about?
Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain aboard the steamship, your words were very clear.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder.
You told us that it was a murder, and you examined Cosmo-sama's body.
Indeed, and wherein lies the problem? We met him earlier today, the victim, Kazuma Asogi. You're quite sure?
He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure it was Cosmo-sama. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead.
Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere of the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all! Priceless! I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Mr. Naruhodo? I could believe that the crewman present at the time made a mistake, but not you, Mr. Sholmes. I will now tell you something of first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. Please, Mr. Sholmes, learn how to use English. Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say.
Didn't it say that a lot in the very beginning of this show? Where it's like,
You
or
won't
won't
to-
to do something, or like...
I honestly
I'm
can't
wont
remember.
to, I think I actually remember
yeah,
that.
I remember that.
I'm wont to do this.
Like
It's old English.
Mr. Sholmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print?
it's of Mr. Enoch Drebber, face of the engineer we seek.
Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course. So looking at a photograph won't be particularly instructive. Are you alright, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, forgive me. Very interesting this. Very interesting indeed.
What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden. It's his lover!
Oh.
Just kidding.
I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you indulge me? Oh, well, what is it? We're gonna glance over the fact that he didn't know anything. As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork set had been returned, and I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains. Oh yes, the professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it for a mere 5 shillings? That's a special one-time only price, you understand. What? The opportunity won't come again, I might add.
Who's
Would
the
you like to see
professor
the
supposed
fruits
to
of
be?
my labor? He's the serial killer that killed Danzig's brother.
I bet it's that.
It's gonna look like the guy, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yep. Oh, well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone?
The price is a very reasonable 5 shillings. I think you'll find it well worth it. Are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes? Surely you only need to look at my expression to ascertain if this is seriousness or silliness. I can never tell with you, that's the point.
Very well, it couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings.
Gratefully received. So, the special exhibit awaits behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure.
Well, the money's been spent, so let's go and see the special exhibit.
Through those heavy curtains at last.
We're not.
Like, draws us close to it, and then we're back.
5 shillings we've had to pay. It doesn't seem
Fine.
right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it?
No. Ah, we could ask Gina to retrieve it for us, using her special skills.
Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives? Is that what makes Britain great? Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands or chip-loving inspectors?
Inspector Gregson comes off rather well in that list, I think. What?
Oh,
Oh,
Oh.
now it's showing us.
No head.
Oh dear, I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here.
Mr. Sato, I say we turn on our heels and go straight home via a really big confectionery.
We certainly can't do that. We've paid 5 shillings already.
True. Actually, now that I'm looking at it a little more closely, we've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddly detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place.
This must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved. Like, almost, like...
Be that as it may, Mr. Sholmes heavily implied that there'd be a clue about the engineer in here, didn't he? But where? Since we've paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we?
Yes, we will get what we paid for.
Is that fear or frustration that's making Susato-san's voice tremble? Alright.
How is there a real flame in a wax museum? Tell me that.
I mean, they light it.
Burn wax. This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real.
It seems to be a young man in a white overcoat, and he has a large shovel in his hand
and
too,
he has
look.
a large shovel in his hand
Oh,
too,
oh.
look.
Perhaps we should investigate a little more in detail.
Ba, 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 ba.
Oh, is that the man? But with brown hair?
What's this here?
Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera.
A camera, but it's so small. British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Sholmes' skin prints?
I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man be in a graveyard at night with a camera?
I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film.
We'll just borrow this for a little while. I think.
Casually just steal the camera from the museum.
But it's just a camera. By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can
Better than
see
a
what
cage.
picture was taken.
From a crime scene.
What's a photographic plate?
It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming in through the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look.
You should see yourself, Susato-san. Your eyes are shining. You really do like machinery, don't you?
He's like in love with her, and I can't wait for that.
It's
to
all
just-
pay out.
Yeah.
You're just here for the ships.
Are you gonna? Can we look at the face?
No, that's last. Now it's time to look at the shovel.
What a large shovel! He's holding it rather ominously, isn't he?
What on earth was the man doing
Wait.
with the shovel in the graveyard in the middle of the night? Oh, wait. Is that...
Yeah, that was me.
Oh,
It's
Mrs. Sato.
Yes?
That's a spade, isn't it?
No, it's a shovel.
No. Shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade.
I've been through this, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a shovel.
No. Although, we haven't considered trowels.
We've allowed ourselves to be distracted, I feel. Perhaps we should concentrate on what the man was doing with the implement.
So we're going to bury the hatchet? You're right, though. With a shovel? What was the man doing in the graveyard in the first place? That's the real question. Right.
That's funny.
Right. How do I move up?
Part of the exhibit was...
Can I actually not...
Oh.
This guy also has an eye patch. I can't see his face very well, can you? Perhaps
it
if I
seems
just...
so stupid, they're like, I can't see his face. I can't see his face. Why? Oh my gosh. Oh, do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'll put it back the way I put it back exactly as it was.
After
Don't worry.
Susato-san stole the camera.
I know.
Lifts the camera off his head but doesn't see his face.
Happening. What is happening? Oh, we're turning it around.
There's the guy.
Ah!
I love how like we were already looking at the camera in the front, and then now we're turning him around to see the face. But what on earth? How can...
I don't believe it. The black monocle.
Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is...
Yes. It's Enoch Drebber. The color of his hair is different,
but
it's unmistakably him.
The younger dude.
Yeah,
It's probably...
Sholmes or
Indeed it
Tuspels?
is.
Nope, it's
No,
Sholmes. Mr.
That
Sholmes!
laugh.
This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right, but just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? And why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved were my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head, to the suit, as Madame would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry Irish still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations. Ah!
Do you know, though, something about this room is strange.
Strange, what do you mean?
Well, the displays in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not?
Indeed they are, Mrs. Sato, so do go on.
And as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever really have happened, could it?
I think it's time I educated you a little. About the nature of the incident involving the professor 10 years ago. I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, every one being either a member of aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound, and had their throats ripped from their bodies. So this is the Hound of the Baskervilles case.
Oh gosh, an enormous hound? How awful.
After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand, accordingly. The professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? So you mean that the professor's identity... As you surmise, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair.
Oh?
The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life. Came back to life? He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene as described by the sole witness to those chilling events. There was a witness, but of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat. Enoch Drebber, he saw it happen.
Isn't he like a known liar and fraudsman?
Yeah. The only witness.
This inspired his life, you know? So this is the waxwork model of Enoch Drebber. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old.
It's so horrifying.
Scared out of his wits, the young Dreva ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he had seen was on every front page of the capital. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who had come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Tuspel's.
I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place in a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night?
Yes, what was he up to? Trying to find the identity. Professor's act of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever been systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had, but in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did the talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale.
But why did people stop believing it?
Why, simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as it was established in fact. What do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution.
No. But that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers.
That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking then that he should resurface now, don't you think? Of course, the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life, that's not possible. But Drebber's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie.
But his hair turned white, so he must have seen the guy come back to life. This must be the killer, the fiend known as the Professor.
Yes, I think so. According to what Madame Tuspel said, he killed 5 victims, all of noble or royal blood.
Noyal or Roble?
Noyal or Roble?
The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place.
I know, it looks like it could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only it had a head, that is. Perhaps we should examine it a little more in detail. Oops.
139. Wait, what happened? Oh, did it say nothing was there?
Yep.
So this is the condemned man.
Yes, the so-called professor.
Then perhaps his head was chopped off by a guillotine? But unable to find peace, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost.
Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Mr. Sato? Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see?
Then perhaps Mr. Sholmes absent-mindedly forgot to reattach it.
Know.
That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it?
Or perhaps the thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum.
That would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason, we don't know. It means we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we? Oh. Something caught just in the convict's jacket here. It looks like a piece of broken glass. Okay, so it looks like it was at the Crystal Tower, and it looks like and it's quite a big piece too.
Very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than normal window glazing, I'd say.
Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from, I wonder?
I wonder. I suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength.
But why?
Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area, such as in a big building, for example.
Ah, but we've seen a large glass building recently, haven't we? I mean, some of the glass was broken too.
You don't mean...
Exactly, the Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition.
But why would glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged inside this waxworks jacket?
It makes you think, doesn't it? Earlier in the court, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick, and now we discover this fragment of glass here in this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence?
Yes. I think that's it.
I think so. The real question is, what do you do from here? Oops. Oh, go back. Go back.
Yeah, go back.
Oh, okay, perfect. I was just needed to go back.
Oh,
Gina.
Oh. We're coming here now.
Nora Odo.
What the bleeding Nora Odo? What have you got and done? Gina, what are you doing here? I asked Iris, and she said this is where you'd be, so...
Gosh. Gina, that's not so loud in the museum.
Madame Two Spells will have you take a position as a waxwork if you're not careful. I think there might be a more pressing concern. I still have some flesh powder left from 6 months ago, so...
Oh my gosh. Alright, Gina, we understand, but please put down the gun.
Sorry, I got scared. You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. Well, she wasn't pointing at anyone, technically. So what brings you here, Gina? What brings me here? What did you think? We found it. We found that dodgy Cove's workshop. What? You found Drebber's workshop? Yep. Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag, so come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out.
Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once.
Alright, last step for the court. Alright then, see you there. Be the final investigation, and you go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here being still. What?
Poor Mr. Shoal.
What the
I
heck?
know my
His
place.
eyes.
In the exhibit, over there.
Do you see his eyes were gone?
Yeah, he's a wax model.
Oh dear, someone is feeling sorry for himself.
Let's go, Mr. Sholmes. You're coming. Your words hearten me, I must say. But if I were to shirk my duties here, Madam would... Yeah, I want to read what he said. Madam would have me pay monetary recompense, and Iris's dinner plate would be empty once more. Forget that, I'll pay for everything. Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow.
Oh my.
I shall hail a carriage at once. No offer to share the cost from Sholmes, then.
I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Mr. Sato. Right, let's go.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Hey, look at that. It's like the same.
That looks
Yeah.
like...
Oh, it's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
Indeed, it would appear so, though only a prototype, naturally. Ah, so you got you then?
Gina, well done for finding this place. And in such little time. You've really worked miracles.
It's Toby here who's the miracle worker.
Woof. Woof.
Oh,
Look at
what's
his
in his
eyeballs.
eyes?
Oh, his name's also Toby, now that I think about it.
His what?
Oh, I thought you
Tobias.
lot to share it before long.
Hello, Inspector.
Why?
That's one knitted brow. He looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips.
So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer?
Sadly not, we ain't find a soul in here.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us the chance to investigate.
According to what Janie tells me, we'll find out only thanks to a clue you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to say go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I?
Thank you.
Anyway, if you're open to snip around in here, I'll get cracking. Lord Van Six and the forensic investigation team are on their way here as we speak.
Them again.
Yes, we speak.
I imagine you've got the picture by now. I don't take too kindly to lawyer types.
Right. So then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down whilst we have the chance.
And you, Sholmes.
Pardon?
They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do to lawyers.
Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous waxwork model. Right then, let's see what we can find in here.
Trophy?
Also the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. That machine is
Probably for
covered
the
by the
crossbow.
special...
Mhm.
Yeah, That machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it. From the crown and the government. Yeah.
Well, those two don't seem to be holding back. It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow. Oh, wait. No loose change dropped on the floor, nothing. Not even a bump of tubby here, my dear fella.
British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they?
I think it's just these two, Mr. Sato. It's a European-style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside.
Oh, do you suppose?
Oh, it's actual arrows.
Crossbow bolt, says. And just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds.
I honestly thought there was a toy because it's like a bright red, like
I
plastic.
know.
Well, I think it just is meaning to pop out at you.
In other words,
Yep, that's more evidence to support your theory. I'll go to show that Debbie was one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam.
The trophy on the far left. Or that.
this door doesn't want to open. Yeah, looks like they got a pretty hefty lock on it.
There's a specialist locksmith on his way over from the yard, so hands off till he gets here.
With permission, Inspector, I could have that lock open in less than a minute. Wait, we have an actual pickpocket.
Well, you don't have permission, and no one's giving it to you.
Gregson looked as though he really enjoyed that.
Well, there's no sound of anybody on the other side.
No, Dripper must have fled at the first sign of danger.
Dog barking.
Ah, this appears to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? It's an impressive looking back massager, that's for sure.
The freak.
I have no doubt that if you hit your shoulder a few times that your aches and pains would go away.
That'd be nice.
It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Ah. Would you like a massage? No, I'm fine, thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing. Clearly he's never seen a trophy in his life before.
I think it's becoming increasingly clear. There's much more to this Mr. Enoch Drebber than a conjuring trick.
I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. And how about you, Mr. Naruhodo? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course. He's not going to let that go, is he?
It's curious though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times. Oh,
Is something wrong, Mrs. Sato?
well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of that door. Well, Gina, did you hear it too?
Yeah, I heard it and all. What do you reckon, Toby?
Right, man, the grease. Whoever's in there, open up. This is Scotland Yard.
Come. Oh my, someone is in there.
This rotten bleeding look.
My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only it were continents, I could unlock that door in less than a minute.
Fine, I'll take your rap for it. Just get us through that door.
There, you may enter at will. You confuse minutes with seconds, I think. Time is of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for?
Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency.
There is a strong possibility that beyond Gore is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow. Yes.
We're gonna have some action.
This is where you can switch game genres.
First person shooter.
Oh!
It's like him, yeah.
Oh my
his
gosh,
arms
we have to
flailing.
defuse a bomb.
But
Oh.
it's
It
now an
actually
escape
is-
room. What's
actually
happening
is.
here? Why is everything upside down? Rats, there ain't no one in here after all. But no,
But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises.
maybe that was the sound of Trevor running away.
There's only one door into this room. The window.
Look at the
Look at the
footstep,
footprints.
And no window that could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high. Heck,
Footprints.
I'm actually confused with what's happening. What's that up there? Are they footprints on the ceiling?
Blow me, what have we hidden?
blow me.
Does the whole thing turn?
Looks like someone's trying to burn something in a hurry.
Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints.
To what?
That Professor Abrain's balmy machine, is it? Blimey, if we'd had these, there'd have been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal.
There's something of great interest here, too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's significant about that? Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oof.
Ooh.
We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrive too.
Mr. Sholmes, have you found something?
A bomb.
Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, yes, in fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this?
That's
Let's see, I've never seen anything like it before. It looks like a thick bundle of...
Yeah.
Mrs. Sato, what's the matter?
That's a... Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it?
Whoa, what do you say?
A time bomb? I'm sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment. Ha! You don't know nothing, do ya, Odo? You haven't a clue what this is either, have you, Gina? I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance.
Oh, thank goodness. But then, what is it?
It's a remotely detonated bomb.
But any moment it could...
I see, so that's it.
Goodness, Mr. Sholmes, have you seen to the heart of the matter?
There are times when I consider my lot most unfair, for I am fated to never know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Mr. Sato. Here we go, I feel a great detection coming. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself.
Oh, but how could you...
And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is without question, completely genuine.
Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything.
No way this room actually turns. It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade.
But the ground doesn't look like a ground.
What the freak is up with his face?
Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea
Yeah,
anyway.
what is... Oh, you deflected the inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done.
You're too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Just kindly stand there, Miss Susato.
Oh, yes, I'd be delighted.
So, shall we begin? Alright, this is where we'll pause. Alright, this is where we're gonna pause.
Wait, you don't want to finish it?
Almost midnight.
And this is where we like solve the case, and it's gonna keep going after that too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like almost there, but like
It's gonna be there after like 5 minutes.
I know, but then you just keep going to the next part, you know? We'll start
Plus,
earlier.
It's a fun, it's
Fun
a
story of when we started today. We were supposed to start at like 7 today, and then
things kept getting in the way.
things just kept getting in the way. Someone came and visited, so we were just gonna wait till they got here, and then Matt had something at 9, but then there wasn't even anything there, and then next thing you know, it's like 9:30 by the finish.
A meeting?
No one showed up to the meeting.
No way.
So this is how we ended up starting at like 9:30. So a little lost time today, so we'll make up for it next time. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. I need to open up something.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So far, YouTube so far from me.
Your music.
Kumu. Animal Crossing.
It's right there, it's the
ACNH.
first
Oh, close enough. That's not that one. There we go. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This has been the end of the stream. We got, not as far as we hoped, but we made some good progress. I'm sure we're almost there at the end. We'll just have to do it next time, but hopefully we'll catch you in the next stream. Until next time. Not this nonsense again.